Next, we will move to Senator Hickenlooper for 5 minutes of questions. So you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As someone who I was a small business person, I had an SBA loan. What is the average length of process for a loan? So when I did it, it took about a year, 11 and a half months. My understanding is it takes about 8 to 12 months now.
Senator, first of all, thank you for your leadership in small businesses. I commend all of our small business leaders for what they do for Main Streets. I will say that the loan process has improved because we've re-strengthened the SOP back to what it was, making it more predictable for our lenders.
No, I get that, and I admire that, and I admit that, but you're giving us statistics of the first 100 days and saying you've given all these loans got completed. Those loans were all started under Biden. And if you look at Biden's first 100 days, those loans were all started by President Trump in his previous administration. So to say that they're up 80% is flipped. In other words, what those loans take at least 6 months to close. So you're closing loans that were started by Biden, and he was trying to close loans at a lower number that were started under Trump.
But these are actually based on closings. No small business would close on a loan that they didn't believe that could invest and grow in their business. So the closing rate during the term is incredibly important. It's a vote of confidence. No small business is going to take out a loan if they don't believe the conditions would support its improvement.
The number of closings, and I appreciate that, but the number of closings is based on how much work has gotten, how many you've got in the pipeline. And that all happened in the previous administration. I worry also, like Senator Markey, in terms of the cost of tariffs to small business. All I hear about when I'm in Colorado is that they can't find, it's not just the components of what they're putting together, their entire supply chain is at risk. And again, raising the caps on the 7A, I think that's a great thing, but that mostly helps larger small businesses. The little guys are struggling. It took me 4 years before I was able to qualify for an SBA loan. We've got a lot of outdoor recreation industry in Colorado. It's really all across the country now. It's a $1.2 trillion industry, and they're kind of freaking out. If you look at the running, hiking, hunting, fishing, boating, kayaking, you know, so much of that industry, and it's a very broad industry, but a lot of it is apparel and footwear. And when you talk to almost every one of them, they are largely manufactured in Asia, not so much in China anymore. They're manufactured in Vietnam and Cambodia and Bangladesh. I mean, people have been moving away from China like crazy over the last number of years, last 6 or 8 years. The margins are too thin to really genuinely imagine we're going to bring back that both the supply chain and the actual manufacturing in the United States. The margins are paper thin, and it seems like a more useful thing to do would be to work with the Caribbean, you know, what they call CAFTA, but it's the trade association in the Caribbean, or with either Mexico or Canada, more likely Mexico, for some of this, you know, footwear and apparel. Is that something you see in the future?
Senator, what I see in the future is advocating for American jobs and American industry, which is exactly what President Trump is doing. This is why small towns like I'm from, a town of 600, have been hollowed out because of the loss of manufacturing. You may not think a job making socks is a good job. I just met a manufacturer last night at a small business roundtable. They love their job. They love their factory. It's a small factory. They do great things. It's textiles made in America. We have microchips being made in America now. We can make things in America, and this narrative that we can't make things here affordably is absolutely demonstrably false, and it's not about big manufacturers. I've been to great manufacturers with less than 50 employees who will benefit from this upsized loan program.
No, I get it. I am a small business person. I am born of that ilk, and I am part of that ilk. But everyone I talk to is in a state of terror that they feel they will not be able to get through this whatever is 18 months. It could be 2 years, 4 years. When you're looking at, even if we go to a 10% tariff, for truly small businesses, that is an unsupportable burden. It puts their entire business at risk. It's something they've, in many cases, have worked their whole lives to get the opportunity to start and to create, and now suddenly they're going to get the rug pulled out from under them for something they have no control over. And I'm not sure I see the benefit of that 10% tariff, which essentially it's got to be paid in raising prices or lowering your sales. You're not just you're just going to have to raise enough prices and accept the fact you're going to have those lower sales. In either case, the public's going to pay for it one way or another. Either have less things to buy or a higher cost. And to what purpose, right? To do a big tax cut? I'm not sure. I don't see the benefit.
Senator,
Thank you. If you'd like to respond, Administrator.
our small businesses have been the victims of unfair trade policy for decades. They have had to compete against unfair non-tariff and tariff trade barriers. We have to level the playing field. It's absolutely fair to them. But the number one thing I hear right now is small businesses need Congress to pass this tax reform, this tax cut bill. And that is the number one thing, small businesses. That would be an immediate tax increase that would raise taxes on small businesses higher than what small businesses in China pay the Chinese Communist Party. So that is the number one thing I hear. I understand there are short-term impacts during this critical period of negotiation with 75 countries that is going to make trading fair for all, and these small manufacturers are delighted that they're finally going to be able to compete on a level playing field.
Okay, thank you, Senator Hickenlooper, and thank you for mentioning socks. We do make socks in one of my very small rural Iowa towns in northeast
We have a sock
Iowa.
manufacturer
Do you
in
have a
Colorado,
sock
as a matter of
manufacturer?
fact. Smart
Love it. Thank
Smart
you.
War. Smart
Sock
Wool.
Wars.